A unique next conversation for you today here in Colorado Springs, joined by Mayor Yemi Mobolade and his new chief of staff and opponent in the last mayoral election, Wayne Williams, former Republican Secretary of State. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you for having us, Kyle.
Thank you.
This partnership, whose idea was this?
I'd say it naturally evolved. I mean, for those that know about my leadership, know I subscribe to the Abraham Lincoln style of leadership, team of rivals. And Wayne and I were once rivals in the mayoral campaign of 2023. But since then, our relationship has grown. To his credit, he came to my watch party, and that doesn't happen anymore.
That was a striking moment.
Yeah, I mean, it left an impression on me. I mean, to congratulate me, that's a big deal. And then I reached out to him 2 weeks after Election Day. We met for lunch in a downtown area, and we observed all the double takes as people were walking by going, what in the world is happening? Didn't these two guys just run against each other? Wayne, I don't know if you remember this, an older gentleman came to our table, put his hands on our table, looked at both of us and said, this is how the world should be. Thank you, and walked away. Never seen him since then. And I asked Wayne to be on my advisory council. Our relationship has grown over the years, and I have this vacancy, and I need a very specific kind of leader. And Wayne embodies the leadership that I need right now.
There is the technical aspect of how this is going to work, how you're going to lead the city with his assistance.
Right.
But it seems to me like this also sends a message. What is the message that you hope it sends?
Oh, it's easy. You look at what's happened on the national level, especially in DC, the partisan gridlock and the inability to get anything done. And Americans are feeling the pain of that type of leadership. Here in Colorado Springs, we are telling a different story. Wayne is a proud Republican. I'm a proud independent. And we're showing that we can work together, that at the end of the day, there is no such thing as a red pothole or blue pothole. We just have potholes. We need to deliver on the promises. I need to deliver on the promises, and I just need the best talent around me. And I want to be able to show a different kind of leadership that puts our residents' quality of life ahead of any partisan issues or talking points.
What was the message that you hope to send by accepting the offer to join this administration?
Well, I don't know that I was intending to send a message per se, as to try to improve the city. I've lived in this community for more than 3 decades. This is home. This is when I was Secretary of State. I commuted from Colorado Springs every day to go to Denver. I always stayed here because this is home. I want our community to be the best it can possibly be. And when it comes to things like infrastructure, public safety, on those critical issues for a local community, Yemi and I agree on the basic goals.
Right.
We've worked together, had the opportunity to listen to each other, and I'm hoping it sends the message that we all work together.
Right.
I don't like to lose elections, right? It's not fun to work all that time and then to have the results not turn out as you wanted. And so as I wound things down on election night at my event, which for some reason didn't last very long, I said, I think I'm going to go by Yemi's and congratulate him personally. And I made a quick phone call to you.
You did. I forgot about it. Yeah, we spoke on the phone.
And so I'd done what you have to do if you're, at the basic B level. I just said, our city deserves better than that. So I decided to go over, and there were a few people that looked a little surprised that the other candidate was walking in. But I went up and congratulated him because that's, I think, what our community needed. We had had a long campaign. I think Yemi kicked his off a year before the election. And so we had been working for a long time and talking to lots of different people and sharing our visions of the city and where we needed to go. But once the election was over, it was time to work together as a community.
Mm-hmm. You're not the only boss in America who has hired somebody who has told other people that they'd be better at the job than you are. Is that going to be weird?
I don't believe so. Frankly, and I think these are Wayne's words, I think he got the better end of the deal. Because when you are a public servant, there's no money in there. So I'm in a position where I get to hire the best people I'm not making a case that working in government you make a lot of money, but I pay people that are around me 2 to 3 times more than I make. And so I'm pretty sure he got the better end of the deal. And so I still got to be mayor and to still lead our vision, lead our deliverables, but ultimately I want to deliver on those results, and I need the best team around me.
It's funny, this reminds me of a conversation that I had years ago with Governor Jared Polis and with Walker Stapleton, when Polis brought Stapleton on to work on a state project. And in that conversation, one of those two men was rested, tan, and happy, and that man was not the governor. So I'm not saying you're wrong on that.
No, it is true. I mean, when you're elected, you're a constant target.
But there's a tradition in our country, right? From Madison and Monroe, who ran against each other in the 1st Congressional District, and then 1st Congressional election in Virginia, and then Madison chooses Monroe as his Secretary of State. From President Lincoln, who reached out as a Secretary of War, chose a Democrat who had supported his opponent to unite the country. You saw that with FDR appointing, again, a Republican to serve as his Secretary of Defense. So there is a tradition in our country that I think we need to get back to.
Yeah, here.
Of disagreeing and fighting strongly for our beliefs, but then coming together. And Madison and Monroe were fighting so much in their congressional race, their round-the-clock events, that one of them got frostbite from the campaigns. But they were still, and by the way, they were opposed on the Constitution. Monroe opposed its ratification. Madison, of course, was one of the authors of it. So you saw this disagreement on an issue, but still working together for the good of the country.
For Americans, right.
And when we talk about a city like Colorado Springs, most of our issues aren't dealing with the partisan issues that get in the gridlock in DC and even in Denver at the legislature, but instead you see people working together we all want good parks, we all want roads that are safe, we all want public safety, we want police and fire. And Kyle, I don't know, you've been a reporter for a while. Have you ever interviewed someone who said, well, when the fire department showed up, I wanted to know their political affiliation, right? That's not what we do.
Water on the fire.
We care about results, and that's what local government specializes in, and that's why it's exciting for me to step into this role.
Has he convinced you to become an unaffiliated voter?
No, let me be very clear, right? So a week and a half ago, I'm in front of title board fighting the Democrats' gerrymander.
You're still a proud Republican.
I'm still a proud Republican. Saturday, I will be the Rules Committee chairman at the State Republican Assembly. So there is absolutely no change to where I am. As people have pointed out, I'm the former Republican chairman for El Paso County. I believe in the Republican values, but at the local level, those values aren't different
he's not wrong,
in any appreciable way from where Mayor Yemi is. I mean, we're talking about public safety, infrastructure, economic growth and prosperity. Neither party is advocating for an absence of growth. No one's saying don't fix the roads, and no one is saying in government that we ought to not provide public safety for our community.
You're not bringing him on to close ranks against a challenge next year for re-election, are you?
No, that is not the intent. I still have a year left in my current administration. I've made a lot of bold promises. We've delivered on many of them. Wayne is coming to not even just work for me and to get us to the finish line, but truly to work for the city. I have kicked off my announcement on Monday for re-election. The timing happened to be close, but we have a lot of work to do. I have a vacancy. I have an acting chief of staff right now that's been in that role for 2 months. He's doing 2 jobs. I think he is relieved that somebody is coming to help shoulder some of that load. But Wayne is here in part because the challenges of today, and I know we don't want to really get into some of the local dynamics, but I would tell you that when you look at the needs, when you look at the needs of my city and the challenges that are in front of me and the opportunities in front of me, someone with Wayne's background can come in there and start to execute right away. Wayne, he's talked about his leadership with the Republican Party. Some of them might even know that. What I do know is that he served as a Secretary of State. So he's not even in this role because of that. But what that tells me is he's got leadership experience. Most recently, he was a city council member. I have 9 city council colleagues that I have to work with to get things to the finish line. Wayne is also a former chair of the Board of Utilities. I have to work closely with the Colorado Springs Utilities, which is a separate enterprise, and he understands utilities better than most. Wayne is a former county commissioner, former county clerk and recorder. Colorado Springs is the largest city in the county. We have to have good working relationship and partnerships with our county commissioner. So you can see strategically how I came to this conclusion. On top of that, we already have a good working relationship. He has a reverence for the seat of the mayor because he's been a former elected. He understands what it's like to sit in a similar role like that, the respect it demands, and also how to come alongside a leader, an elected leader, to follow through on deliverables, because he's had to depend on a chief of staff to do the same. So this is really for the city of Colorado Springs. Now, when it comes to campaign, that's a whole different world, and you bet I'll be working my butt off to make a case for why this community needs to re-elect me.
And you're going to vote for the mayor.
I have been very clear. I'm not getting involved in the campaign at all.
Okay.
And actually, our city charter says that someone in my position can't be solicited for contributions or anything else or any other thing of value. So there is a separation.
Right.
And my job is to work with Yemi and the city council and the rest of the city staff to deliver services to our community. And that's my goal, Kyle.
I hear mutual respect.
Right.
It seems like you've come to like each other. Trust is a different thing, though.
Right.
How did you develop the trust to do this?
And yes, we have developed trust over time, and I'll be honest, we're still developing it because we have not worked together. So we're stepping into a new phase of our friendship of trust, and both of us have to work on that. But when we talk about our history, him showing up calling me at the election night, showing up at the watch party, us having lunch, and what I didn't mention was I asked Wayne to join me in one last commercial after the campaign. I don't know if you've seen it, Kyle, but I said, campaigns fracture a community, good governance unite a community. Would you join me in helping to unite the community? There was no job or anything on the line, but Wayne, out of love and respect for this community, said yes. And we did that commercial and made an impact. But you can see how trust is growing. Serving my advisory council, the conversations we've had, going through surgery, and me calling him that morning to wish him well wishes, and so we have enough trust that I am willing to take that risk to the next step to say, okay, let's work together for the good of the city we both love. But trust grows over time. So we're about to step into a whole new level of trust. Doesn't mean there is not going to be some conflict as we try to establish this working relationship, but I am confident that that's something that we can work through together.
One last question for you. I don't see what you're doing happening in Denver anytime soon. I don't see it happening at the statewide level anytime soon. Do you?
Well, I'm not waiting for a senatorial appointment from would-be Governor Bennett. But no, I mean, the reality is that particularly in Denver, but even more so in DC, there has become such an almost toxic environment.
Right.
When Joe Manchin stepped down as a senator, who was one of the few who could actually talk to people on both sides, you see a lack of communication on things. So we've been dealing, as a community, Colorado Springs has an airport, dealing with TSA and challenges by the lack of funding for Homeland Security. So that's not functioning. That doesn't serve the people, and it is a problem in DC. And you can either sit there and say, there's nothing I can do about it, or you can say, but I can do something here. And I'm not saying it's going to catch on in the rest of the world will now do that, but it's something I believe in. You're aware Phil Weiser and I did Unify Colorado together because it was important for us to initiate people talking to each other in an era when people in many cases, don't even know anyone who disagrees with them on anything. And that's a problem because our state, our nation, our community functions best when people talk to each other.
Kyle, to add to that, it can feel hopeless. I know you've mentioned contrast in what's happening here with Denver politics and even DC politics, and it can feel hopeless. But this decision, make no mistake about it, others are watching, and it inspires people. I have had so many people already talk about how they're inspired with the kind of leadership that I'm bringing to the table. I've had DC leaders say, we wish what you're doing can be a national model. The next generation of leaders are watching us. And you know that statement, that phrase, desperate times call for desperate measures, I actually disagree. And I hate that because you can see our nation is doing desperate measures. I believe desperate times call for new and different kinds of leadership that restore the very essence of who we are as Americans. And as we get things done, I'm hoping this story inspires others to say, oh, we can do that. You know, Yemi and Wayne did this. Colorado Springs is leading the way in this. All hope is not lost. We too can do this. And you can see Wayne articulating how this is embedded in our history. While this may seem new, it is not new. It's been done over and over. And as things get worse, I do believe they can get better. And it takes courageous leadership to lead in new ways because we know all eyes are watching, and it helps to have partners who are willing to tell this story.
We celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary this year. From a document called the Declaration of Independence, Adams and Jefferson were not close friends. They were rivals. They ran against each other. But to collaborate on the Declaration of Independence that founded this nation, they came together. We need to do more of that.
We'll leave it right there. Mr. Mayor, Wayne Williams, thank you both for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Kyle.
Kyle,
Thanks for
thank
coming.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yep, appreciate it. It's good to see you both.
Good
Yep,
to see you.
thank you for your time. I appreciate it.